the state of Kansas shines a spotlight on two outstanding Shawnee Mission educators. Students pursuing a passion find out that conducting research is fun. Kansas City Chiefs visit the home of the Indians to honor a special young man. And environmental students spearhead a project to turn cafeteria trash into treasure. It's all ahead on this episode of Spotlight on Shawnee Mission. Welcome to Spotlight on Shawnee Mission. I'm your host, Leanne Neal. Two educators from the Shawnee Mission School District have been named among the best first-year teachers in the state.
I'm excited because you're going to be announced today as the 2016 Horizon Award winner.
Wow. Wow. That's very, very cool news, and I'm sorry. Thank you.
Brett Mack, a language arts teacher at Shawnee Mission Northwest High School, was at a loss for words when he received the phone call from Randy Watson, the Kansas Commissioner of Education.
I know how proud Northwest is of you, and the work that you're doing with kids there is just outstanding.
Even though he had been told in advance it was all good, he says he was still a little intimidated when he first walked into the room.
Saw the superintendent, saw the principals, and that was even scarier for a moment, but it did seem to be an atmosphere of happiness.
The mission of the Horizon Award program is to recognize exemplary first-year teachers who perform in a way that distinguishes them as outstanding. Mack says he thinks his passion for English and his desire to connect with students is what set him apart.
Getting to bridge that kind of two passions of mine and connect kids to the English curriculum is energy for me.
Principal Lisa Grumman agrees.
Balancing all of his passion, skills, and knowledge with that humility, and just being really so student-focused. And that's just really the right combination of package that I think made him stand out from others.
Hello, this is Jennifer Gill. Can I help you?
Across the district, another surprise was in the works at Park-Carpenter Elementary with Education Commissioner Watson on the line.
I think she would want to know right off the bat that she's a 2016 Horizon Award winner.
Yay for you! Thank you!
This time, third grade teacher Katie Sutton was the honoree.
And Katie, I couldn't be more excited for you, and I so look forward to meeting you in person.
I look forward to meeting you as well, and like I said, I'm honored. Thank you very much.
After congratulations from Superintendent Henson and Principal Jennifer Gill, it was time to let Sutton's students in on the news.
We have some very exciting news. Miss Sutton was just awarded the Horizons Award for the state of Kansas.
Sutton had just enough time for a quick picture with her students. Then it was time to dive back into learning.
The A, B, C, D shapes that you see in front of you are arrays, correct? I have some rows going down and rows going across. Perfect.
These teachers are now invited to join the Kansas Exemplary Educators Network, an organization of educators from across the state who have been formally recognized for exemplary performance. Congratulations to both Katie and Brett. Keep up the outstanding work. Up next, students discover that researching something in which you're interested is a lot of fun. Plus, from Zimbabwe to Macedonia, an international festival gives students a taste of the world.
name is Maya. The book I read today was The Boy on the Porch by Sharon Creech. The Boy on the Porch is about a young boy who was dropped off on the porch of John and Martha. John and Martha soon realize the boy, Jacob, taps everything he sees instead of talking. John and Martha give the boy Jacob lots of toys, including a paint easel, a guitar, a paintbrush, and paint. They realize that he is a great artist. Days go by, weeks go by, even months go by. One mysterious day, Jacob leaves. They never see him again but adopt more children. Jacob never returns. What do you think will happen? I rate this book 5 out of 5 stars because of its great plot and character dialogue. If you like adventure, then you will love this book.
Welcome back. Students at Oak Park Carpenter had a chance to travel around the world without ever leaving school, and technology helped make it possible.
We're doing our international night for 6th grade projects. Everyone gets a different country and we have to do a report on it. And as you can see, I got Zimbabwe.
We've been working on this project for about a week and a half. And our kids started off by writing a research paper, really developing those research skills on our iPads and looking for credible sources and things.
Based on their research, each student created a display to share more information about their country.
They worked on all of their boards here at school, and so it's really nice to see all of their boards are 100% made by them, and they put a lot of effort into this, and it's just really great seeing them all dressed up and proud of their work here.
So this is Macedonia. This is the whole country with the states.
For Alec, this project hit close to home because his father is actually from Macedonia.
It's great. I just love it. So all kind of different cultures, and it's just nice to learn everything. And I learned a lot too about different countries. So it's great.
I think hands-on learning is always best. I think the kids, when they get their hands into it, they're very motivated by it. I really think it's special to them.
To enhance the experience, many of the students dressed in native attire and offered guests a taste of their country.
We told the kids to make a food from their country that they were researching, just to really exemplify that there are many flavors in the world, and to give them a taste of different cultures, and really get a chance to talk to their parents about, what recipes do we need, how much of it do we need, and, perhaps using those fraction skills that we've been learning this week.
I did the sadza with relish. The sadza is made out of cornmeal, water, salt, and butter. It is like rice to the Chinese or pasta to the Italians.
I did chili, and chili is in South America. I made beef empanadas, which have gluten, but no peanuts or any nuts, and they're pretty good. They're homemade.
My country was Bulgaria. The food I made is rice pudding, made with cinnamon, rice, milk, water, and sugar.
I put cinnamon in the food, and it's cinnamon snails, but it's not made out of snails. It's made out of cinnamon.
This is my first international night, so I've never experienced it before, but when I'm here and I'm seeing all of their faces, I'm just so excited to show their peers, show their parents the things that they've been able to achieve. I feel like they've had a really positive response to it.
District Technology is fueling another kind of research project at Brookwood Elementary. This one focused on students' passions. From sign language to cheese, cave paintings to water pollution, you could find anything and everything at Brookridge's Genius Hour.
So the Genius Hour is something that we took off from Google, their passion project. So it was kind of about how if people have an hour a day to work with whatever they want to do, then they're more passionate about it and they put a lot of work towards it.
I did my passion project about the trip around the world, and I've learned many things from this, and I've made a couple props. I made a globe, and I labeled places I would go, and I called a travel agent. I asked her, how much would you think it would cost for a trip around the world? It's cool to learn about all the extra things that you didn't know about.
The Genius Hour is important because the kids are more motivated to choose something that they want to learn about, and they'll stick to it for that several months and learn what they want to learn. As well as they're doing that, they're learning how to read better, they're learning writing techniques, they're learning computer techniques. A lot of them have some type of a table that they're using math skills as well.
This is how video games have changed over the years. So the first generation was from 1972 to 1977.
I think it's great. I think the technology today with the iPads, this is where this generation is really headed. I think this is the future of their work and their workspace, so I think it's great. It's good to learn at a young, early age. It teaches them to use the technology, become familiar with the iPad, and I really like the idea that they had to search for the answers not just by Googling the information, but by actually interviewing maybe an expert in the field.
I felt excited because I could make my own project and I could make whatever I want, so I could go with Disney, football, or anything.
This helps them a lot just because they love what they're actually researching. They enjoy it because it's what they're passionate about and what they want to learn about.
I chose this topic because Odell Beckham, he kind of inspired me to play football and try to catch the ball with one hand. It was pretty cool because you got to put stuff that you wanted to put in there, not like what anybody else wanted you to put in there.
In their free time, my kids would draw or whatever, but once we started the projects, they would always ask, can we work on our projects? Can we do this instead? And I was like, of course, go for it.
In addition to researching, many students also use their iPads to create presentations to illustrate their Genius Hour projects. Coming up, find out what special mission brought several Kansas City chiefs to the home of the Indians. Plus, a student-driven program diverts tons of trash from landfills to lawns and gardens when Spotlight on Shawnee Mission returns. Welcome back. Shawnee Mission North's Indians got a surprise visit from a group of Kansas City chiefs on a mission. The chiefs' ambassadors traveled to Shawnee Mission North to surprise freshman Noah Sanchez, who has been fighting cancer for a decade.
I've got to meet him a few times through some of these events. Someone who's battled cancer and is, as I understand, cancer-free right now, and so there's a lot to celebrate.
I think he's energetic, he's kind of playful, he has a very good sense of humor. He's also very serious, he likes sports, he likes school.
And we honor him, and he doesn't know how much it means to each one of us, just from a hug from him.
Many of these players first met Noah at a camp for kids fighting cancer called Camp Quality.
There's a lot of great programs in this community that are helping a lot of people. And the Chiefs have always been involved in a lot of those organizations, and Camp Quality is one of those that's doing tremendous work, and we're all excited to be a part of it.
But for these former Chiefs, surprising Noah wasn't going to be enough. They wanted the whole school to get in on the party.
We want to make sure that these kids understand that they have a hero in their midst, and a guy that's, gone through a lot, but he never complains about what's going on with him.
I hope he is pleasantly surprised. I'm sure he'll have a little bit of embarrassment knowing this is all for him. At the same time, I think that he will appreciate knowing we're all behind him and wanting him to have a great day.
The Winter Sports Assembly seemed the perfect spot for the Chiefs' ambassadors to share Noah's story of perseverance, which he has demonstrated by tackling health obstacles head-on.
But we're going to honor a young man who's been through a lot. He never complains. He never looks at it in a way that, why me? He always says, hey, I can deal with this, and I'm going to handle this situation in the best way I know how.
one of the things that Shawnee Mission North is known for is their toughness. Their toughness on the academic institution, their toughness on the basketball court, on the football field. You guys, the toughness of the people here in this school in a great way. That's what Noah has shown to us as ambassadors, as a representative of you guys, is toughness.
Thank you so much.
Before the assembly was over, the Chiefs ambassadors presented Sanchez with a signed football and jersey. But did these gridiron stars reach their goal? Was Noah surprised?
To be recognized at the end like that, it was just cool, and I wasn't really expecting it.
Thank you all so much. Remember, take care of him. He's one of us. He's a very special young man.
Thanks to Duran Cherry and the other Chiefs ambassadors for highlighting Noah and his story. At Shawnee Mission West, a new initiative means new life for tons of trash. The school's environmental club has revamped the cafeteria's trash system to include recycling and composting centers.
Now we have 3 stations set up. We have one for recycling, trash, and then our main station is composting, and that is where 80% of our used to be trash now goes to composting.
Usually they come from right to left. Trash is on the right, recycling in the middle, compost on the left. It's actually fairly easy way to do something very good. It's like a very impactful thing, but it takes very little effort. I don't think a lot of people realize that.
It's going pretty well. There's a bit of a disparity between kids who kind of get it right away by looking at the posters and kids who need to be guided, but between the posters and the people that are actually helping, I think we can get everyone to put their trash where it belongs. So during lunch, I just stand in front of the bins and make sure that those kids who don't get it right away from the posters or don't automatically know where to put it. So I'll stand there and guide them on where to throw their trash and where to put the recyclables and things like that.
From here, the compostable items get picked up by Missouri Organic, and it really adds up.
It's pretty interesting. I've noticed that we've saved quite a bit of composting versus the trash. I was really amazed at the amount of composting that we saved the first day.
So how much cafeteria trash does Taylor think is actually getting diverted to compost?
I would say tons a week, easily, very easily. I think it's very important, and I think that eventually over time, I think it's just going to get better and better.
Our numbers are per school, it's about 12 to 15 tons a year of usable materials get kept out of the landfill. So that by itself is a really big thing.
Environmental Club sponsor Doug Moles also notices a difference.
There was a lot of material that was either compostable or recyclable that instead was going into the trash. So the kids are doing a really good job of taking all that material that normally would go into a landfill and putting into our compost bin, which Missouri Organics will take and in a matter of 12 to 16 weeks convert it back into nutrient-rich soil, so that's good.
Hearn says using a professional composting company allows the school to convert even more organic waste.
In your backyard you could do apple cores, banana peels, stuff like that. Here you can do milks and cheeses and plates and napkins and stuff like that. And so they process it in a really big facility. Some of their what are called windrows are even as big as the school is wide. It's a very big process, and through the breakdown of the organic material or the paper and the food, it turns into compost.
Environmental Club members say helping the environment doesn't have to stop at the cafeteria door.
It's easy to compost at home too, again, and just making sure you turn your lights off and making sure your faucets are running and stuff like that. Little things help.
Having people think about their trash, where things go, because everything comes from somewhere and everything has to end up somewhere. So it raises a new generation to think about where is this going to go if I throw it away or compost it or recycle it, and so it allows that educational opportunity as well.
Nearly 24 Shawnee Mission schools currently compost their cafeteria waste, with more schools planning to come on board. Up next, transforming the future of teaching to help Shawnee Mission build upon its tradition of excellence. And a big grant funds a new space for students to explore, create, and learn with technology.
Hi, my name's Dustin, and I read the book Becoming Ben Franklin by Russell Friedman. In 1723, Ben Franklin arrived in Philadelphia. He worked hard and followed his dreams. Benjamin Franklin was a successful printer, published Poor Richard's Almanac, helped create America's first lending library, light the streets of Philadelphia, founded a firefighting company, hospital, and Philadelphia's first college. After the age of 44, he kept busy, inventing bifocals, the lightning rod, and the Franklin stove. I rate this book 4 out of 5 stars. The pictures are great. If you want to learn more about Benjamin Franklin, read this book.
Welcome back. In Shawnee Mission, educators are committed to ensuring that all of our students are prepared for what is ahead. It is this commitment to excellence that brought leaders from different schools and disciplines together to examine not only what we are teaching students, but also how we are doing it. The two buzzwords at this interdisciplinary curriculum meeting were rigor and relevance. The group's task: to work together to find the best ways to maximize both in the curriculum.
And we're focusing on making sure our curriculum is rigorous and relevant and real-world applicable for our students.
Even before this meeting, instructional coach Kristen Zook says a lot of teachers had come to her for help in reimagining their curriculum with rigor, relevance, and students in mind.
For sure, a lot of it is making sure that things are more relevant to, again, the world today. And so that's what a lot of teachers are asking me to work with them on, is how to take what they do in the classroom, the content that they're given in their curriculum, and make sure that they're reaching the higher levels, but also that they are making it so that they're going to be prepared when they leave school.
As the teachers brainstormed ways to amp up the rigor and relevance in their classrooms, they benefited from collaboration with educators outside of their subject area.
Getting a fresh look from a variety of perspectives is also a positive experience. I think we found that at our table, we had a math teacher in our group, say something about when you're teaching your material day in, day out, sometimes you get focused on it, and seeing a fresh pair of eyes on the material was a different way of looking at it, and challenged him to look at it differently as well.
With our push towards rigor and relevance, we really believe in that interdisciplinary fact of what education is moving towards, and so we are trying to model that with our curriculum work.
Spanish teacher Linda Seek likes the interdisciplinary approach.
Rather than just always looking at lesson design from the standpoint of a Spanish teacher, it helps me gather ideas when I talk to math teachers or band teachers or English teachers about ways that I can incorporate strategies and learnings from other curricular areas into my own classroom.
Yeah, our goal is to provide a curriculum that kids are excited about, that they come to school every day ready to learn, that they're running to school ready to go, and hoping that they can continue to gain some knowledge and resources that'll help them be successful in anything that they decide to pursue.
Ultimately, this group's work will help in the creation of district-wide curriculum maps or outlines for all courses. Thanks to a $10,000 grant, students at Bluejacket-Flint Elementary are going beyond their curriculum and diving deep into the world of technology.
We live in an amazing time right now. You guys are so lucky to grow up to have this kind of technology. You have access to information that I never did as a kid growing up. Now, hopefully, after today and this week, you guys get inspired to be coders, and maybe when you grow up, you'll create the next piece of amazing technology or create a new game. I want to take a moment and let someone who works with coding share a little bit about what he does every day and hopefully give you a little bit more information. Would you please welcome Mr. David Helen.
Thank you, Mr. Frick. It is a privilege to be here today with you guys. We believe that fundamentally computer science is at the foundation of our youth. And while 9 out of 10 parents want their children to learn about computers and technology, really only 1 out of 4 schools actually teach it. We are doing something called an hour of code during this week. And we, as my company, we actually have 10,000 volunteers who are going to instruct code during this week around the world. And there are tens of millions of students who are going to code, in many cases, for their first time. So what we're trying to do is get the access of that technology and the ability to learn, to provide that technology at an earlier age. We see the real skill gap begin at the ages of 1st through 6th grade, because if you start to go beyond that gap, people lose the interest and they kind of go in different directions with their careers. So, Mrs. Brown, based on the eager participation of your students and your wonderful request for this, Accenture, as part of code.org, would like to present a check for $10,000 to your school. So Accenture donated $10,000 as part of a grant in partnership with code.org with the intention of really making technology and learning technology more accessible to students at an age gap when it's really important to generate that interest in some of our most talented youth.
This money is for you guys. We're planning on having a space in our building called a makerspace. We're going to design a room specifically for you guys to go in and create, design, engineer a lot of fun things.
We want them to be able to create and design with their imagination solutions for real world kind of problems so that they can be doing something meaningful and something real when they come into that space, that it's a place for them to pursue things that they're interested in.
Now this is Dr. Southwick, he also works for the district. He has volunteered to come on up and he's going to learn how to code today.
We basically created a simulation of a dinosaur ecosystem and how a T-Rex would feed off of a triceratops that feeds off bushes and duplicate the spawn energy to the point where you have enough energy to create another T-Rex.
I like how at the end of stages, how I get to make my own code and make the characters do whatever I want.
So even though they had some problems they had to work out, they sat down, collaborated, figured it out, and eventually got to where it's working the way we want to. Let's have a big round of applause for Sage, Adam, Austin, and of course, Dr. Southwick for being a good sport.
The kids are totally engaged in it, and the teachers are too. When you come in, at first, some of them were a little hesitant because it sounds a little intimidating to do coding, but all of them have been extremely open and invited me in to help them kind of learn it so that they can do it with their kids. But the most important thing, I think, with the kids' involvement is that you don't really have to know it yourself for the kids to be able to do it. You can pretty much set it up, and then they can get on and teach themselves and teach each other, which is the fun part of it, and teach their teachers.
Principal Frick says students will vote on the features that they want to see included in their new makerspace. That's all the time we have for this episode of Spotlight on Shawnee Mission. Join us again as we continue to feature the programs and people of Shawnee Mission who are helping guide students to success. Thank you for watching.